Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, October 20, 2021, 6 p.m. regular Planning Commission meeting. The meeting will now come in order. Pursuant to the Assembly Bill 361, please be advised that members of the Planning Commission might participate in today's meeting. Telephonic members of the public might view and listen to the meeting live online through the city website as noted on the agenda. The, tonight's invocation will be given by Ms. Morales and Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Ms. Flores. Please stand.
Lord, as we gather in your name, please bless this meeting and everyone present. Direct and assist us with your wisdom into making the right decisions. May our decisions bring truthfulness and blessings for the future and the betterment of this community. In your name we pray, amen.
Okay, and now for the Pledge of Allegiance, please take the flag and place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Secretary, would you give me a roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner De La Rosa? I will now be taking roll call. Commissioner De La Rosa? Commissioner Flores?
Present.
Commissioner Leon? Vice Chairperson Villalobos?
Present.
And Chairperson Rivera?
Present. Thank you. And we're gonna do a welcome introduction to the city attorney, Mr. Lloyd Pitchen. Doesn't have. For everybody to welcome.
Thank you very much.
Next item will be public comments and agenda on agenda items. Anybody wishing to speak on that agenda? Erica?
Chairperson Rivera, we do not have any written comments. And at this point, anyone wishing to make a comment via phone may do so at this time by pressing *9. When instructed, press *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through the Zoom app may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature on Zoom.
Thank you. Is there any objection by the planning commission? I will close the public comments. Close. Public hearing item number 1. Conditional use permit number 2021-043. Proposed grocery store tenant 7102 Easter Avenue, file number 2021-043. The presentation will be given by Carmen.
Thank you, Chairperson Rivera. Good evening, Chairperson Rivera, members of the Planning Commission. This is a request for the approval of conditional use permit, 2021-043. The applicant is Transshore Development, and the location of the project is 7102 Eastern Avenue. The request involves approval of conditional use permit 2021-043 to allow a Type 21 of sale general license and also a Type 86 instructional ABC license. And both licenses are proposed in conjunction with the operation of a proposed grocery store at the subject site. Sorry. Was I muted? I was muted, huh? I was fine? Okay. A brief description of the site location. Um, the site is located in a C4 zoning designation, heavy commercial, with the general plan regional commercial. The subject site is approximately 118,964 square feet. The building is currently vacant. Again, the square footage of the site is square footage for the entire shopping center where the property is located. North of the site is the Los Jardines Shopping Center, which is zone commercial. South of the site is the Shorewood Shopping Center, also zone commercial, McDonald's, and also KFC. To the east of the property is Ajax Avenue and Presidential. And to the west of the property is Eastern Avenue and Marketplace Shopping Center. A brief background on this item. The site is developed with a 40,964 square foot building that was constructed in 1986. The building was then occupied by the Toys R Us store until 2018 when Toys R Us vacated the building. Soon after that, Prime Store Development purchased the building and now proposed is a future grocery store, which will be the first tenant since Toys R Us closed its store for business in the city of Bell Gardens in 2018. This slide shows a picture of the store as it exists today, the building. As you can see, the Toys R Us back then had their main entrance off the south elevation of the building, which faces the Sherwood Shopping Center. The site plan that you see here on this slide shows the location of the building in relationship with the remaining shopping center. Again, to the north is the Los Jardines Shopping Center that also extends along Eastern Avenue. South of the site is the Sherwood Center, which is occupied by multiple tenants. Then we have McDonald's and we have KFC. And this is the location of the former Toys R Us building where the proposed market is going to be located. The floor plan that you see here on this slide shows the the preliminary layout of the future tenant. And as you can see, one of the changes that is being proposed and that is currently underway is the loading area for the future tenant. So the loading area for the store is being reconfigured to allow for better access, better truck access to the property or to the building. Currently, the property owner, Prime Store Development, is in the process of making some extensive changes to the exterior of the building. And this slide shows the finished product of the building elevations once those are completed, those changes are completed. There is going to be a new storefront in terms of entrance to the market. This elevation here is the west elevation of the building facing the Starbucks parking lot. As you can see, there's a storefront that is being proposed with a new canopy a new signage area for the future tenant. Uh, This elevation at the top is the south elevation. This elevation will face the parking lot that is shared with Sherwood Shopping Center. Uh, the third elevation is the north elevation. This is the elevation that, where the loading dock is going to be proposed for, is existing, being remodeled for the future tenant. And this east elevation is facing Ajax. So the improvements include, and the developer or the property owner, Prime Store Development, has already secured all the building permits for this improvement, includes modifications to the loading area, includes modification to the exterior of the building, as well as air conditioning units on the roof. Once the tenant occupies the building, or prior to the tenant occupying the building, there's going to be a separate set of approval at the staff level for all of the interior changes and the layout of the store. So under the analysis for the ABC license, staff analyzes the census tract in terms of the concentration for the number of licenses that are existing within the census tract. So the city is divided into 9 census tracts. The particular location where the store is proposed is on census tract number 5341.02. Based on information provided, data information provided to us by the Department of Alcohol and Beverage Control, the ratio, the number of license per number of residents within the census tract for the year 2021 is 1 for every 1,618 persons. That particular census tract where the store is proposed has a total population of 5,742 residents. So based on the number of licenses per ratio on persons that reside within that census tract, the total number of licenses should be a maximum of 3. However, as you can see here, there is a total of 9 licenses or 9 establishments that currently hold ABC licenses for off-site sale and consumption. However, ABC and the cities are both in agreement that the Planning Commission has the discretion of granting additional licenses based on finding of necessity convenience. And so if this license is approved, this license will make number 9 for that particular census tract. However, all the businesses included or shown on this slide are currently operating with an ABC license and a conditional use permit. The staff also analyzes concentration of licenses within 700 foot radius of the property. So this slide shows the 700 foot radius around the subject site. Again, here we show 10 licenses, both on-site, off-site consumption, all of them operating with a conditional use permit with the exception of Rite Aid. So if this license is approved, this will make number 11. So under the analysis, the future grocery store will operate with a conditional use permit, just like the other businesses in the city and other supermarkets that currently operate with a conditional use permit and an ABC license. The tenant proposes the off-sale of packaged beer, wine, and distilled spirit and also on-site instructional tastings that will be offered to patrons of the market and will add to the convenience of a one-stop shopping experience at the supermarket. The applicant's request is consistent with the city's general plan and also with the provisions contained in the Bell Gardens Municipal Code, and it meets all the findings under section 9.20.050 and section 9.50.050. As part of the submittal, the applicant has provided the city with a security plan that contains a number of policies that will be implemented by the future tenant of the supermarket. And a brief summary of what the security plan includes policies that requires a 24/7 contact with the property owner, ABC training in dealing with alcohol-related issues, first aid and fire protection awareness, loitering and panhandling, and emergency reporting to local law enforcement in case of an issue arises at the store. Under the conditions of approval contained in the Planning Commission Resolution 2021-07, we have a number of conditions that address how the alcohol is to be sold at the store. Condition number 16 requires that proper ID is provided by patrons that appear to be under 21 years of age. And the same thing applies to employees that are providing the instructional trainings and also that are selling the alcohol at the cash register. In addition to that, number 19 requires that the instructional tasting be limited to the interior of the business only. Condition 22 and 23 prohibits outdoor consumption of the alcohol. 27 requires the applicant to work closely with the Bell Gardens Police Department on any necessary updates on their security plan. And condition number 28 requires mandatory ABC training for all employees at the store. In conclusion, conditional use permit 2021-043 is consistent with the general plan and meets all findings pursuant to the Bell Gardens Municipal Code. The recommendation for the Planning Commission to consider tonight is to open the public hearing and receive public testimony, and then close the public hearing and adopt Planning Commission Resolution PC 2021-07, approving conditional use permit 2021-043 to allow a type 21 of-sale general license and a type 86 instructional tasting alcohol and beverage control licenses for a proposed grocery store tenant at 7102 Eastern Avenue. The applicant is present tonight via Zoom, and if the Planning Commission has any questions for the applicant and the staff, please feel free to ask those questions. And this concludes my staff report. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. At this time, I will open the public hearing and receive public testimonies. Anybody, Secretary Erica?
Chairperson, we do not have anybody calling in on this item, but I believe we do have the applicant with us tonight. I'm not sure if they want to comment.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Ricardo Mesa with Prime Store Development. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me.
We can hear you.
Perfect. So yes, I do have a comment or a quick request on a modification to condition number 12. The current condition states the hours of operations between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. And we are requesting to modify that from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. And this would allow the future grocer the flexibility of being able to operate within this time frame. It's my understanding that they do plan to operate currently under the 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. But again, they want to have the flexibility of being able to extend those hours as needed during the yearly, operational basis. So that is the request that we have on the table for modification.
For the record, I would like to ask you one of the other issues. What's gonna be the name of the person who's gonna apply for ABC?
I don't have that information on hand now, and unfortunately, I'm not able to disclose the tenant themselves at this point. But at the time we have that information, we can obviously relay that to the city for the record.
Good. So if it gets approved, so the today's approval is gonna be to the property, right?
Correct. And the ABC license would follow once the tenant is ready to come in and obtain the ABC permit.
Okay. Commissioners, any question you wish to ask, Tim?
So it's just that you're not able to disclose, it's not that you don't have it.
I don't have the specific name of the person on hand. That was a question of who the person would be, who would be applying. I don't have that information on hand. But as far as the overall tenant, again, I'm not able to, at this moment, disclose who the tenant's coming in. But again, it's a full service grocer, national chain tenant.
Any more questions, Commission? No more questions? Okay. Secretary, you didn't have nobody else wishing to speak?
We'll go ahead and open the line to see if there's anybody wishing to speak. Anyone that's wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by pressing star 9. When instructed, press star 6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through the Zoom app may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature on Zoom. Chairperson, as of right now, I do not see anybody wishing to speak on this item.
I will close the public hearing. If there is no objection, are there any questions to the staff from the commissions?
Actually, I do have a question for the applicant.
To the applicant?
Yes.
If you have to the applicant, need to open the public.
Oh,
No? No?
okay. So you were saying that you wanted to modify the hours, but do you plan to also modify any type of security for it? Because I know that sites like Less or big sites around have security to, make sure that the area is safe for everybody. So do you have any modifications for that?
Yeah, the security plan would coincide with the hours of operation, and in this particular center, we do have 24-hour security, so it would be ongoing, regardless of the tenant or the business being open or not. There are 24-hour security guards at this location.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Questions?
Yeah, I have a question directed to staff. In regards to the presentation on table 3, why is it that Rite Aid is operating without a conditional use permit despite having a license? I just wanted a little clarification on that.
Sure.
Carmen, can you explain or?
Chairperson Rivera, if I may answer that question. I think. Uh, Commissioner De La Rosa, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. So to answer Commissioner De La Rosa's question, Rite Aid is operating under a non-conforming status. So they were operating prior to the city ordinance requiring the approval of a conditional use permit for an ABC license.
Thank you for that clarification.
Commissioners? I want to ask you, Carmen, how many permits we have, and I want you to put your record to explain to us, because we have two different kinds of numbers in there, the permit sales alcohol and other ones to eat at the restaurant. Can you explain how many we have for sale, which is, I believe it's 21 if you go back to the numbers. 21, you only have, look like 2 or 3, I didn't count it really good. Which is sales, right?
Adrian, can we have the presentation again, please?
Right before that, right there.
Okay. So how many establishments have an ABC license that are type 21?
So you have licensed restaurants, which is, I believe is 40 something, and you have the 21s, which I believe is only 2.
Right, so Progreso Market. So Pacific Liquor Store have a general ABC license,
Okay,
and the Rancho Market the same, and Hardon Liquor in Liquor USA.
so it's a total of 3, which
No,
is the 21, right?
so Pacific 1, 2, 3, 4.
They only sells, those licenses are only to sell and take home. They're not to drink and establish, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And the other number is for restaurants so they can consume at the location.
So these are all off-site, right, off-site.
Okay.
Some of them have beer and wine, some of them have full liquor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the restaurants, they have a license just to consume inside the restaurant, and the other ones are to sell and take home.
Let's go to the next slide. Okay.
See, like Rite Aid has 21, that's to sell. 47 will be Applebee's to consume inside.
So, so type 21 is the for off-site consumption. The type 21 that is shown here. This is within 700-foot radius.
See, you're showing only 221s and analysis.
So for the 40 type 41 is for on-site consumption. The same thing with 47. These are general liquor, which means beer, wine, and distilled spirit. And the type 41 are beer and wine.
41.
Right.
And 47 is the same?
Applebee and El Pescador 47 Bicycle Casino. Adrian, can you clarify that type 47 is for entertainment, right?
Yes. So type 41 is for the on-site consumption of beer and wine. Type 21 is the off-site consumption of beer, wine, and distilled spirits. Type 47 is the on-site consumption for beer, wine, and distilled spirits. So if we're looking at this map here, we only have two establishments with the type 21 license, which is what our applicant is requesting at this time.
And I'm trying to see how many we have, because also according to these permits, had to be good for the community. We only have two on this part of the permits.
Exactly. So that ratio comes in when we have the census tract. So as Carmen mentioned, the ratio used for the census tract is one license for every 1,618 persons. So essentially, within the census tract, they're only permitted, let's see here, about three licenses. So they're over concentration with their licenses. However, that is based on the Department of ABC's ratio. It's up to the city or the commissioners to make determination if they feel this use is suitable for the community.
Okay, but that's what I'm trying to get the information, so we have, uh, we, we are over on the permits, but we
Yes.
only have two for people who wants to sell and take in consumption home.
Well, Mr. Rivera, I'd like to clarify that the two is within the 700-foot radius map. There's no ratio for the 700-foot radius map. That's just showing you what establishments within the 700-foot radius has an ABC license. The ratio comes into play with the census tract, which is provided by the Department of ABC.
No, I do understand that, but I'm trying to get the difference because one is different than the other one. See, and I understand that both are combined and we are over. But the convenience for the citizens of the Bell Gardens, uh, it will be the 21 also, because that's the one they buy and they take it home.
Mhm.
Uh, and we only have two, and that's what I just trying to see the numbers
Yeah.
this time.
Okay, so Mr. Rivera, if I may jump in, this particular slide on the analysis shows off-site sale of licenses. So these are all supermarkets and liquor stores, and they all have ABC license that allow for off-site sale. The second part of our analysis is the 700 for radius. So this particular slide shows within 700 of the property, how many licenses we have in the city combined, on-site, off-site, licenses versus strictly off-site. So we analyze 700 within 700 foot of the property and also within the census tract.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you. Commissions, any questions? No questions? Might entertain a motion for the recommendation as noted by the staff, or any additions? Before we go into that, I want to make sure, Carmen, can you clarify what the Ricardo is asking for the time?
The request for the time change?
Yeah.
Sure.
What do we have? I just forgot what we have on the conditions.
Right. Okay, so condition number 12 on page 22 reads, the hours of operation for the grocery store shall be as follows: Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that's based on the application that was submitted by the applicant to the city. However, what Mr. Mesa is requesting on behalf of the supermarket operator is for the time to change the same days of the week, but from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, right, Ricardo?
That is correct.
Carmen, if I may, I'd like to ask the applicant, is this typical for other stores in other areas, for this grocer?
To clarify, the question is it typical for the hours of operation in other locations?
Yes, does this grocer have the same hours for their ABC license in other cities? What you're requesting, the 6 a.m. to 12.
My understanding is that yes, that the hours do apply at other locations. Now, in this particular location, they came in with the initial request of 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. But after analyzing it, they wanted to have the flexibility to be able to expand to the 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. hours of operation.
Okay, and the reason I asked that, Chair and Commissioners, is because this grocer, it is a national grocer. Ultimately, you want to make sure that they're operating under the same standards in other communities that they are in Bell Gardens. Thank you.
Hmm?
Well, that's why one of the things that's important to know which one of the stores we're getting in there. But I think the 6 to 10, what the commissions think about this time,
6 to midnight.
huh?
6 to midnight.
6 to midnight. I'm sorry. For the records, can I ask you a quick? I think that the ABC doesn't allow from 2 to 7, correct, to be open, to be closed, sell liquors.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
you don't know what the regulation is so far as the ABC.
We can look that up for you right now, sir, if you want to give us a few minutes. I believe it might only apply to any other type of uses besides grocery stores, but we can definitely look it up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we do it right. If because I see some places 7 o'clock. I know the food stores, the big stores, they open at 6. But I never, I don't buy liquor, so I didn't pay attention to that at what time. But if it's a 6, it's the ABC to midnight. They're gonna be open at midnight. Uh, I don't know what the commission thinks.
Commissioner Rivera, my understanding is that the limits or the hours where grocers or stores are not able to sell alcohol is between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. But again, I'll let staff confirm that if they're researching it.
Okay, I just looked it up, and you are correct, Mr. Mesa. Per BMP code 25631, retail hours of sale, ABC indicates no alcoholic beverage sales between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Okay. All right, so we are into the perimeters that we normally everybody does in the industry or the markets, and we're not gonna be against the ABC regulations. Commissions? Go ahead.
Yes, I have one more question. Do we know the operation, the hours of operation for other grocery stores in Bell Gardens?
Commissioner, Mr. Rivera and Commissioners, I do not have that information at this time. I don't know off the top of my head what the hours of operations are for other supermarkets in the city. It might be 10 o'clock, might be 11 o'clock. I don't know if anyone is open until 12.
Ricardo, since Prime Store operates Food for Less, would you have that answer?
Yeah, actually, I'm Googling it now. So their hours of operation there are from 7 a.m. to 12 a.m.
And Commissioner, if you can give us a minute, we'll go ahead and check Super A as well. That's a nice thing about having the internet on your fingertips.
Just to add on, Rite Aid's hours of operation are from 7 to 10 as well.
And I'm sorry, but Super 8 is not identifying their hours on their website.
Okay, so we have one is 6 to 7 to 12, so that's very close. I don't know why I had in my mind that 7 o'clock was the hour, but if it's 6, it's 6 for the ABS, for the ABC, I mean. Commissions?
Darren, I just verified that Super A is from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah, compared to the hours of operation, with Food for Less, it's just an hour difference. So I did not see anything wrong with it. It's just like convenience for the consumer.
Okay. Well, I will entertain a motion then to approve staff recommendation with changing on the time. If that's what we want, changing the time from 6 to midnight. I would entertain a motion.
To modify it since with the hours, the
You just have to read the motion and then with additions.
If I may,
Yes, go ahead.
Chair, just as you said, the motion should state with the following change and then state the hour 6 midnight. That's all it's needed. And you could also say revising condition number 12.
motion to adopt the conditional use permit number 2021-043, proposed grocery store tenant at 7102 Eastern Avenue. And with the change to, is it number 12? Condition 12, where hours of operation are from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Yes, second?
Second.
Sure, Commissioner De La Rosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Flores,
Yes.
Commissioner Leon, Vice Chairperson Villalobos,
Yes.
and Chairperson Rivera.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Second amendment number 2021-006, ordinance number 919-7102, Easter Avenue, file number 2021006. May I have the presentation, Adrian?
Thank you, Chairperson Rivera. Good evening, Commissioners. Today I will present to you the proposed zoning code amendment number 2021-006 with the proposed ordinance of number 919. So just a little background, in 2017, the City Council adopted ordinance number 882, establishing the land use and development standards that added accessory dwelling units regulations to the Bell Gardens Municipal Code. Now in 2019 and in 2020, the state of California legislature passed 7 new bills, amending government code section 65852.2 and section 65852.22 to promote the development of ADUs and junior ADUs. The intent of this bill was basically to streamline ADUs and junior ADUs approval by adopting less restrictive development standards. Now, as a result of the new legislation, the government code deems any existing local ordinances that are not in conformance with the new statutes null and void. So basically, what that means is that uh, all all local agencies with ordinances that do not conform with the government code are no longer active. However, the government is allowing cities time to amend their zoning ordinance to incorporate the new provisions consistent with the new state law. So essentially, ordinance number 919 will override ordinance number 882 that was adopted in 2017. Just give a little background of what an ADU and a junior ADU are. So an ADU is an attached or detached residential dwelling unit that provides complete independent living facilities for one or more persons, and that is located on a lot with a proposed or an existing primary residence. It's usually smaller than your regular primary unit. It's usually located in the rear of the property. Usually, residents use it for for their grandparents or even for students that are in college or young families. Now, for junior accessory dwelling units, it's a much smaller unit. It's a unit that is no more than 500 square feet in size. Now, this unit has to be created entirely within the walls of a single family dwelling, and it cannot be located on a lot that has more than one single family dwelling on there. So if we have a lot that has two single family dwellings that are detached, a junior ADU cannot be introduced on that property. Now, I want to go ahead and explain to you guys the maximum number of dwelling units in terms of ADUs and junior ADUs. It get a little confusing, so I'll go ahead and try to simplify it the best I can. Now, for converted ADUs, which are ADUs that are converted through a garage, a storage room, or any non-livable space, they're permitted on lots with a single-family dwelling unit, uh, only one conversion, and or a junior ADU. Now, what that means is that a resident can do a junior ADU within their walls of their existing single-family dwelling, and as well as convert their garage or storage room or any other non-livable space. Now, as I mentioned, lots with multiple detached single-family dwellings are not eligible for a junior ADU. For newly constructed ADUs on lots with a single-family dwelling, only one ADU and or junior ADU on a lot with a proposed or existing single-family dwelling. So very similar to converted, a resident can do a junior ADU within the existing walls of the single-family dwelling, and they could also construct a brand new ADU anywhere on the property based on the development standards that I'll explain shortly. Now, in discussion for multifamily dwelling unit properties, they are only permitted one converted space. So they can convert a garage, any other non-livable space. And with the addition of that, they're allowed to convert an additional non-livable spaces up to 25% of the existing multifamily dwelling structures. So that 25% essentially means is if a property has 8 units existing on the property, 25% of 8 units would be two. So they would essentially be able to convert two spaces, and so on. If there are only 6 or 7 units on the property, they would only be permitted to convert one space because 25% of 6 or 7 would be 1 point something, which we would round down to just one. Now, for another for new ADUs would be for lots with multifamily dwelling units existing on the property. They are permitted two new ADUs. So if there is a property with 1 or 2, 3 units on there, they could introduce two new ADUs on that property as well. And of course, if you guys have any questions on what I just explained right now, we can go ahead and discuss that after this presentation is over with. Now, I'm going to go into the development standards for a regular accessory dwelling unit. Now, for the maximum ADU size for a studio or one bedroom is 850 square feet maximum. If you want to have two bedrooms or more, the maximum is 1,000 square feet. Now, a unit that is no more than 150 square feet in size for ADU and studio uh, for one bedroom, and 1,000 square feet in size for an ADU with two bedrooms or more. And it could be designed as an efficiency unit. So basically what that means is that these units can be as small as 150 square feet in size. So they have that square footage from 150 to 850 or 1,000 to be able to build their ADU. Now, the setbacks for ADUs have been amended in the government code. So now it's 4 feet on the side, street side, and rear setbacks. The front setback will remain the same as shown in our current residential zone development standards. Now, as I mentioned, ADU can be a conversion of an accessory structure, a garage, storage shed, or any other non-livable space. And an ADU cannot be considered in the calculation of density. So essentially what that means is if there is a property that could only have 3 units maximum on the property, and that's as much as they could have based on our density. If they want to come in and introduce an ADU on the property, they can. The density does not apply to them. They could build an ADU based on the maximum numbers allowed I showed you on the previous slide. Now, owner occupancy used to be required. It is no longer required for any ADUs constructed before January 1st of 2020. Now, any ADUs that are constructed after January 1st of 2025, um, we can require owner occupancy requirements. Now, for junior ADUs, which is a little bit different, it's a unit that is no more than 500 square feet in size. So a junior ADU cannot go any larger than 500 square feet, and of course, no smaller than 150 square feet for efficiency unit. Now, I previously mentioned junior ADUs can only be proposed within the existing walls of a single-family dwelling. And as I mentioned, if there's a lot that has more than 2 single-family dwellings on the property, they cannot introduce an ADU on the property. The junior ADU must be provided with a separate exterior entrance and interior entrance from the ADU to the primary residential dwelling unit. Now, they may share sanitation facilities with the primary residential dwelling unit. So basically, any bathrooms they could share, just as long as they have access from each unit. They shall be provided with a separate cooking facility, so they would need to have their own kitchen apart from the primary dwelling unit. Similar to ADUs, junior ADUs can also not be considered as part of the calculation for density. And now this is where it gets different. For owner occupancy, it is required. Now, for if anyone wants to introduce a junior ADU on their property, the owner must either occupy the junior ADU or the primary unit. Now, parking is where it gets a little tricky. So the government code says that we could require 1 parking for each dwelling unit. And it could be tandem parking and parking located within the rear setback. However, there are exceptions to parking. As shown here, some of the exceptions are if this ADU is located half a mile walking distance from public transit, historical district, existing primary or an accessory structure. That is, if it's an existing garage or storage shed that they're converting, or if on-street parking permits are required, but not offered to the occupant, and if there is a car share vehicle with 1 block of the ADU. Now, given the size of the city of Bell Gardens, we have public transit throughout the city. So anywhere there is an ADU, they are within a half mile of walking distance of public transit. So they will not be required to provide any parking for any ADUs proposed on any property in the city of Bell Gardens. Now, it's a recommendation to the commissioners to open the public hearing and receive public testimony, and to close the public hearing and adopt resolution PC 2021-08, recommending to the City Council approval of zoning code amendment number 2021-006, and adopt ordinance number 919, amending the Bell Gardens Municipal Code as follows. Chapter 9.04 definitions, section 9.04.010, definitions, and chapter 9.20, special uses and applicable standards, which is in section 9.202036, accessory dwelling. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. This time I will open for a public hearing. Madam Secretary, is anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Chairperson Rivera, we did not receive any written comments, and we will open the line to see if there's anyone wishing to speak. And at the moment, I do not see anybody wishing to speak, nor is there anybody raising their hand at the moment.
If there's not any objections from the Planning Commission, I will close the public hearing. Commissioner, is there any questions regarding these items to the staff? Someone? No questions, huh? I just want to make sure that we know this one is, I know it's a state mandate, but for us to understand, they will take a big effect on our communities. Because parking it might be a way, and we already have a parking problem in our city. So this is even gonna get worse. But it's a mandate that we have to obey. So if we have, I will entertain a motion if we don't have no questions.
If I could clarify one thing.
Sure.
Just, I'm sure, a reminder that I'm sure what everyone knows is that a ordinance, like a zoning code ordinance will have at the city council a first and second reading. So this is, of course, merely a recommendation to the city council.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
It would also help with our housing element, city industry that was prior to government level. Incorporate and have more affordable units in the city.
No, this one, I don't know. You wanna repeat the questions, or maybe that's something the attorney might answer? What is the question?
No, it wasn't a question, just stating that, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's gonna help, you know, the city as far as meeting our requirements to, identifying or having more, units that the state or city requires, right?
Oh, okay.
The hope, that's the hope.
That's the hope from the state down. So I might entertain a motion to do the staff recommendation.
Motion to adopt resolution PC 2021-08, recommending that the city council approving of zoning code amendment number 2021-006 and adoption of ordinance number 919, amending Title 9 of the Bell Gardens Municipal Code as follows. For A, Chapter 9.04 and B, Chapter 9.20.
Want to have a second?
Second.
Sure, Commissioner De La Rosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Flores,
Yes.
Commissioner Leon,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Villalobos,
Yes.
and Chairperson Rivera. Motion passes.
We're going to the consent calendar, item number 3, approval of the minutes. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes of the August 25, 2021? No changes? No additions? I will entertain a motion to approve it. In a second.
Motion to approve the minutes of the planning commission meeting of August 25, 2021.
I second.
Approval of the minutes passes. Discussion of the item number 4, second workshop regarding private outdoor sales event in the commercial zones. Presentation will be given by Carmen, please.
Chairperson Rivera and members of the Planning Commission. Um, I keep hearing an echo. And so Steve is gonna come and fix it for me. Hmm? It's okay now? Okay, somebody wasn't muted. Okay, thank you. So this is an item regarding a second workshop on the private outdoor sales events in commercially zoned properties that staff brought to the Planning Commission back in August. So tonight's workshop was advertised by posting flyers both in English and Spanish at multiple posting locations within the city. And also, this workshop was advertised on the city's website, as well as multiple social media platforms that that the city uses to provide information to the community. So just a brief background on what this item entails. So the Community Development Department received an inquiry from a business owner regarding outdoor parking lot sales on her property. And as you know, if an ordinance is passed to apply to one particular property within a zoning designation, it basically applies to all properties within that zoning designation. So that's the reason why we say on all commercially zoned properties. At the time, the applicant or the business owner approached the city staff and also the council. And the council directed staff to bring this item to the Planning Commission. So the Planning Commission had an opportunity to review what the business owner was requesting the city to look into and provide the city council with input on how the commission felt the city should proceed regarding outdoor sale events on parking lot of commercially zoned properties. So outdoor sales could be anything from a swap meet, farmer's market, parking lot sales. All of those are considered outdoor sales events. Currently, the Bell Garden zoning municipal code does not provide definition for this type of events in the city. The only type of events that are permitted with a special event permit is events that are related to businesses that are already located in the city that wishes to, on occasions, allow for the sale of items that are offered inside their locations to be allowed to go on the parking lot for special events such as Christmas type of events, end of the year events, summer end events, and things of that nature. Sometimes we see carnivals. Sometimes we see uh, car washes. All of those are permitted with prior approval of a special event permit by the city and are regulated by section 9.42.030. So the special event permits that are permitted under that particular section of the code establishes standards on how those events are to be conducted within the city. And the city, based on compliance with conditions of approval, issue the permits up to 4 times a year and not to exceed 3 consecutive days for any one particular event. Events are also limited, like I mentioned before, to the use and sales of merchandise of the licensed business on the property. What that means is that under the special event permit, no one outside the business that is located within that property would be permitted to come on the property and offer their goods for sale for sale at that particular location. Under the special event permit regulations, the business owner is also required to provide sufficient parking during the course of the event in order to avoid any overspill of parking within nearby streets and neighboring properties. And it also provides noise regulations to avoid any negative impacts on neighboring properties. So on August 25th, the Planning Commission had an opportunity to discuss what is being proposed or what is being requested by this business owner, and also had an opportunity to look at the current standards that regulate outdoor sales events or special event permits in the city. Go back, Adrian. At the time, the Planning Commission instructed staff to look at regulations that are being implemented by other jurisdictions to allow outdoor sales events in their communities. Remember, keep in mind that outdoor sales events can be anything from a swap meet to a parking lot sale. So what the staff came across, and if we go to the next slide, is that in looking at neighboring cities and other cities in Southern California, and we surveyed about 9 cities. The city of Chino, and then at the top of the chart, you see swap meets, farmers market, and parking lot sales. So for example, the city of Chino allows swap meets in commercial zones with prior approval of a conditional use permit. And it allows farmers market up to a maximum of 3 days per week, also through a temporary use permit, but does not address parking lot sales within their ordinance. City of Commerce currently holds a swap meet on a regular basis at the Laguna Nueva Elementary School campus, but that's not regulated by the city. It's regulated by the Montebello Unified School District. Farmers market is not addressed by code, and parking lot sales is prohibited. The city of Corona allows swap meets in the C3 zoning designation with a conditional use permit. Farmers market and parking lot sales is not addressed in their code. City of Downey allows swap meets in commercial zones with a conditional use permit and industrial zones by right. Farmers market is permitted in commercial zones and mixed use zones with a special event permit, but those are coordinated by various cities departments. So it's not something that can be privately done. It's coordinated through various cities departments. Uh, in regards to the parking lot sales, their regulations are the same as the city of Bell Gardens, especially event permits. City of Fullerton permits swap meets through conditional use permit on public land um, and also coordinated through various cities departments. Farmers market and parking lot sales are not addressed. The same thing with the city of Monrovia, conditional use permit in the manufacturing zones, but the other two uses are not addressed. And the city of Paramount has a swap meet on Paramount Boulevard, south of Rosecrans. But then again, that swap meet is currently operating under a legal non-conforming use. And the farmers market is permitted but organized by various cities department, in this case, Parks and Recreation. Parking lot sales is not addressed. City of Santa Fe Springs permits swap meets with the conditional use permit, but the other two outdoor sales events is not addressed by code. And the city of Southgate prohibits swap meets, does not address farmers market, and the parking lot sales are regulated the same as the city of Bell Gardens. This slide shows examples of those various types of outdoor sales events that I previously mentioned. Swap meets, you have flea markets, which are, a farmer's market, which are primarily very popular these days. Local growers come out to one particular day of the week and they offer their goods. Like I said, typically for most cities that we survey, or all the cities that we survey, those are organized by multiple city departments. And then the next slide, Adrian. We also, on our analysis, we also consider some potential negative impacts that may be a result of having this type of events in cities. One of them in particular related to parking lot sales. Primarily, one of them would be decrease and or lack of on-site parking for patrons of the business, as well as event attendees. Increased demand for on-site parking or on-street parking or on nearby streets. Additional traffic and congestion on surrounding streets, as well as economic impacts on neighboring brick and mortar businesses due to unfair business competition caused by the sale of goods at a lower price when you have parking lot sales that don't necessarily have to pay for overhead costs, business licenses, insurance, and so on. Increase in noise in the area, as well as littering and loitering. So at this time, I would like to have the commission open this item for discussion amongst yourselves and anyone in the public that might be wishing to participate in the discussion as well. And then following the discussion, we have a recommendation for the Planning Commission to consider.
Thank you for the presentation. Erica, will you tell us how many we have wanted to speak and any items that came in?
Chairperson Rivera, we did receive one email comment from a Spanish speaker in which the translator will go ahead and translate that. After that, we will go ahead and open the line to see if there's anybody wishing to speak on this item.
Sorry, commissioners, we have a little technical difficulty here, but we're trying to get it resolved.
Okay, thank you. All right, now, are you hearing me on the English side? All right. This comment is from Masarina Pizza. I am in favor of the pop-ups. It helps the business that holds it, that holds the sale, to clarify some doubts, some questions. These are done only for 4 hours. They are done where there is only one business, and that helps that business. It doesn't take business away from other businesses in the city, because each vendor who sets up at the pop-up advertises to his or her own followers. Street traffic and parking problems, I haven't had problems with that, because the sellers, the vendors are told where their clients, where their customers can park. And this amendment for pop-ups will bring a benefit to the city, as well as even more to the businesses that do it, to help them survive. Because of the times that we're going through right now, this isn't easy. Just like people sell food from their homes, and the city can't control that, and that affects everyone in the city. Just like the people who have restaurants, that affects us as well. So I hope that you can put yourselves in our place to be able to make a fair decision, since you all are here to help both residents as well as businesses in the city of Bell Gardens. Thank you, Masarina Pizza.
Chairperson, if I may, I'll go ahead and open the line to see if there's anyone wishing to speak on this item. Anyone wishing to make a comment by phone may do so at this time by pressing *9, and then when instructed, press *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through the Zoom app may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature on Zoom. And Chairperson, as of now, we currently do not see anybody in the chat line.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissions to the staff?
Yeah, I just want to ask, okay, can you
I'm sorry, but we cannot hear.
Good? Good?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, that was
Better.
not.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry, so just want to clarify, that was just one business owner that came to the planning department just to inquire about this, right? It wasn't many,
Yeah.
I know,
That is, I can go ahead and answer that, sir. This uh, public workshop request came about from the commenter just a few minutes ago. We have not heard from any other business owner or any other resident out there about this, but it was at the request of Masanina Pizza that we put this together.
yeah, real quick. Uh, I understand we have a business watch, right? I'm not sure if that's still ongoing or not, but perhaps, you know, if that's something that we can speak with other business owners and see what the consensus is in the city, just because, you know, I understand I'm all for business and whatnot and, you know, how, you know, alternatives for, you know, generating, you know, business and income for business here, but I'd like to see what other, you know, business owners here think about that as well. Maybe, you know, it's in their favor or something that they would be on board for, just because I understand of the overhead costs a lot of businesses have to, you know, and permits that they have to go through. And, you know, you know, I know the staff analysts, they mentioned that it'd be unfair for things like that. So if that's possible, you know, we can speak with other business or have that, you know, business watch. Is that something that we can invite other businesses to get a more better understanding or consensus in the
We
city?
have done that, sir. In fact, we reached out to the Chamber of Commerce, who reached out to its members. We personally sent out flyers to all, we hand delivered them to all the businesses. I think what you see here today is a result of maybe there being no interest in having parking lot sales citywide. And keeping in mind, staff's position is that these type of uses are controlled in other cities through a CUP process. And when they are allowed, they are only allowed in larger areas, you know, school-sized parking lots, large shopping centers. What's being asked of you today is to consider these in every commercial zone. And a lot of brick and mortar businesses have a problem with that because, again, it does affect them just like the sidewalk vendors. Right now, there's a lot of talk about having changed legislation so that similar sidewalk vendors will not be in front of a similar business. So again, I understand the concern with some businesses having a tough time through this whole pandemic, but we don't believe this is the answer. So staff is not in support of this. Our recommendation is that, you know, we had the workshops, we went out there. This is the second workshop, haven't received any interest. So our recommendation is to receive and file.
Any more questions from any other commissions? I want to make my little comments on this one. I think it's two things I see wrong as I have a small business before. One thing is the parking that are designed for business in this city are so small they barely fit the business themselves. Uh, I'll give you an example like the shopping center Food for Less. It's full. You put somebody in there to sell items, you're not gonna have enough parking for the people that go and buy at the place. Um, then the thing is, then we have the health department. If anybody wants to get and sell food, they has to go the same line, the the same way as any restaurant, a little restaurant. I talked to some of the taco guy that is over there in Easter, and it's very small. He pays location, and he said that it will not be fair if somebody put a taco stand in front of his place because he already there, and um, and they will not have no parking for their people. Competition is not a problem. I'm not afraid of competition. I like business, and I would say that if you have two places selling tacos, that'd be okay because two people will sell to different customers. But the problem that we have here is number one, we need to make sure that they go through the process like license, uh, the health department, and then make sure they have parking when the people comes in and buy items for them. Uh, then you have a problem on the street. I seen it. Look at the swap meet in the gauge when they open. You cannot even go through there. Um, that's the problem that I have, and I just want to make the distinction and that feeling that I have far as the business. I wish that we can open a place, but we don't have. We're a small city. We don't have a big lot so where we can open like a food yard with parking. If everybody can park, it's okay. I would not have no problem if they have some people that can park and you park and you walk and get some food. Like the instance they have a place, they used to have a place in Long Beach on Pine Street. You park, then you go and get your food over there on vendors on the side of the beach. They had it in there, but everything was done legally with as far as the license from the city. Everything was done with the health department, and they located people where they can service the public. In this case, I don't think it will cut it. But anyway, any more comments from the commissions?
Yeah, in my case, yeah, I do see uh, the perspective from Masanina Pizza. But in regards to the probable issues or cons of this would be, parking, of course. To my understanding, the applicant still has to go through the uh, community development department. So I have trust in that department that they will inspect the site and make sure that the surrounding areas are not impacted by a potential business, making use of their parking spaces. And also, you know, uh, to my understanding, the current tenant is only allowed to place a pop-up using their parking slots, and they also have to show the potential customers where to park, so that way they don't, invade other parking spaces from other businesses. So at least that's how I'm seeing it at the moment. So I'd expect the community development department to mitigate those potential disadvantages and decide whether they want to approve the applicant's request to use those parking spaces. So yeah, I'm open to give the businesses the resource or the the possibility for them to stimulate economic activity during these challenging times. So that's the way I see it at the moment.
Commissions, any more questions? Comments?
I mean, even if we were to um, go forward with this, there seems like there's so many, based on the listing of all the cities or that have different alternatives, right? The swap meet, farmers market, parking sales. There seems like there's a different variety of what we can do, right? CUPs and special permits. So then would we have to decide that, or is that something we would push to city council about what that might look like specifically for our city?
Yeah,
You, sorry,
let's go
Carmen,
to,
go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Carmen.
Um, Gus, I was going to, somebody's not muted. Okay, thank you. Adrian, take me to the next slide, which is the recommendation, please. So I guess, I was gonna go ahead and read the recommendation, if that's okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the recommendation for the planning commission to consider tonight is to receive and file and take no action, no further action on this item. As an alternative action would be to recommend the city council to direct staff to prepare an ordinance to amend Title IX of the Bell Gardens Municipal Code to allow private outdoor sales events in commercially zoned properties. Um, Those are the two recommendations. One is our recommendation, the first one. The second one will be an alternative, a recommendation or an alternative action to, for the planning commission to consider. Thank you.
You understand what we Commissioners, do you understand how the Carmen is put it in there very simple? Receive and file and take no further action, that would be number one, if you wish to make that. Number two is recommended to the city council to direct staff to prepare an ordinance to amendment Title IX, the municipal code, which shouldn't, what we will be allowing everything to be going all over the city, because it's not gonna be only in one area, it'll be every place.
And Chair, just for point of information, it could be very likely if we do put together an ordinance that identifies mitigation, as Commissioner De La Rosa was identifying, that it would show that every business has to provide the parking. So even a business possibly like Masarina Pizza may not be able to do it based on the standards that would be put together. So we would be looking at larger properties that could maintain parking and off-street parking as well. In other words, not have any impact to circulation and traffic to neighbors. So we just wanted to put that out there, and that's why our recommendation is to take no further action. Thank you.
I would like to ask staff a question in regards to the comment made by Masarina Pizza. Is it actually true that these pop-ups are only available for a time frame of 4 hours?
That is what Masarina Pizza put in place for her vendors. It's not a city code. It's something that she decided to identify.
Thank you for clarifying.
But like always, I would say they say 4 hours, but who's gonna enforce it if it's 4, 3, 6, 10, all night? I'll just say that the way I see the lunch trucks and all the food vendors and other places like in East LA, you can see it at 4 o'clock and you can go back at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're still there. So very hard. I will say at this point, and we can revisit it probably in another 6 months, another later, but we can request it, pull it back later on. But at this time, I will say that we might want to receive and file, and then revisit maybe a year out, 9 months from now, see how everything goes, because it's very, very difficult at this time.
Absolutely, I agree. It's pretty difficult, especially given the current circumstance and the economic impact of the pandemic.
We got it,
Yeah.
we got economic
Mhm.
problem with the business, which is already coming along. Number two, we got Mr. Gustavo that is trying to help the business to promote business in the city to small business. And he's trying to do a better job than we done before. So that, I would like to put more money into that to get that into the little places and start doing it the right way, the legal way. Um, and the right way. And then trying to go slow because we got tons. With all these laws that we pass, we're gonna have a lot of problems with parking, traffic. We just have to go slow with these new laws coming in. We don't need these problems at this time, but we can revisit. We can always call the staff if we put it receive and file and take a no further action, I think we can put it, right, Carmen, if I'm correct? We can put it as 9 months from now, right? We can ask you to go back and revisit.
Absolutely.
See, I think that's what I would do.
Yeah, I really like that idea because I also don't feel comfortable making the decision without hearing the input from the other businesses from the Chamber of Commerce. So even though they never commented or approached us at the meetings, um, I would like to hear from them as well. So I also believe that revisiting this in the future would be a good option, especially with the you know the the foreseeable difficulties with parking,
Yeah.
being probable. So I also feel comfortable with that decision.
All right, let's make a motion then. Make a motion in a second. We stated that you will go with the stop, right? You will go with the stop recommendation to receive and file. Go ahead.
Since this, Chair, since this is a discussion item, there's not a resolution before you. If you've got a consensus, it would be sufficient to just give direction to staff to receive and file. It doesn't require a formal vote.
Okay. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay, Carmen.
Yes.
Let's do receive and file. I'm sorry, I was
Excuse
out.
me, Chairperson Lloyd, should we take a roll call just to make sure, or just general consensus?
I think the consensus is clear. And to be extra clear, the chair can always say anyone opposed. That's another way, but I think it's very clear.
Yeah, anybody opposed? No one. So all in favor? To receive and file and take no further action. Thank you. Staff, any updates? Equipment Associate Planner, Special Planning Commission, December 6th.
Chair, I think we have public comments on non-agenda items first.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Public comment on non-agenda items is now open.
Chairperson, sorry about that. We do not have any comments on any items not on the agenda, but we can open the chat line as well to see if we receive any comments.
Go ahead.
And it doesn't look like we have any comments on the chat line either.
Right? Everybody's watching the Dyers. They don't want to watch us. So now we go to the staff comments. Update and recruitments. Before that, I should close the public comment.
Uh, Chairperson Rivera, members of the Planning Commission, so since our last meeting, somebody's not muted. Somebody's not muted. Thank you. Thank you. Since the last meeting in August, I need to report to the planning commissioners that our former associate planner, Yeleni Siva, accepted a position with the city of Southgate. And at this time, the city is in the process of recruiting for a new associate planner. We anticipate that we'll have somebody on board before the end of the year. In the meantime, Adrian and myself are holding up the fort, and if you have any questions, please let us know how we can best assist you. and we hope to be able to bring a good candidate to the Community Development Department. The next item that I have is the Planning Commission meeting in December. So the Planning Commission meeting in December is scheduled for Wednesday, December 15th. As you know, city has been working with Veronica Tam and Associates on updating the city's housing element. We've brought the housing element to the Planning Commission a couple of times during workshops in the month of May and also in the month of August. Staff has had various meetings internally with the consultant, and today we actually had a meeting with our housing element reviewer at the state level with the Department of Housing and Community Development. She has provided us with some comments that the state would like us to incorporate into the proposed element update. And once we receive the letter authorizing us to move forward with the public hearing, we will like to bring that to the Planning Commission for recommendation to the City Council for adoption in December. However, the City of Bell Gardens, just like every other city in California, has a very tight timeline to get the housing element adopted and submitted to HCD for certification. The housing element consultant, Veronica, has indicated that she is completely booked for the month of December to attend our commission meetings, with the exception of Monday, December 6th and Wednesday, December 8th. Unfortunately, Wednesday, December 8th, which is the first day we're trying to get secure, this chamber is busy, occupied by another commission. So I'm asking the Planning Commission if you feel that you will be available for a special meeting on Monday, December 6th. That meeting will take the place of the Wednesday, December 17th regular meeting. At this time, we'd like to see what the commission feels, whether they feel they will be available, and if they are available to meet on Monday, December 16th, I would ask our city attorney, Lloyd Pearson, to help us with how the meeting should be set up. Thank you.
Commission?
If I may just say something about the rules, Chair
Yeah, go
Rivera.
ahead.
To implement what Carmen is describing, the Planning Commission bylaws requires that substituting a meeting for on a different day requires a formal action. So that will be a motion to hold the meeting on this date and cancel the other meeting, and a vote, a majority vote. Thank you.
Commissions, what do you think? What do you think, commissions?
Yeah. Would that only apply for that meeting in December, or just moving forward, like the meeting would be held at the beginning of the month?
It will be only for December.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
December 6th?
That's fine.
Okay, so we have to take a motion according to our city attorney. So we have a motion, and we need a motion, and we need a second. Number one will be the motion to cancel the meeting on the day of
December 15th.
December 15, and reschedule it to the day 6.
Motion to cancel the December 15 meeting and moving it to December 6th. 6th? Is it 6th?
Get a second?
Second.
Give me a roll call, please.
Sure. Commissioner De La Rosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Flores,
Yes.
Commissioner Leon,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Villalobos,
Yes.
and Chairperson Rivera.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So we have the meeting for the 6th, Carmen. So yours now.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I believe our Director Gastromo has some comments as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Carmen. Chair Rivera and Planning Commissioners, there is a legislative update that we would like to give you for the month of November. There's been several housing bills that have been passed and things pertaining to planning in general. And I would like to ask our City Attorney Lloyd Pilchin if he would be available to present that update for the November meeting. Lloyd, would that be possible?
Yes, we're already working on a memo to distribute, and yes, I can present that.
Wonderful, thank you. And same way as we're doing it with the Planning Commission, Attorney Pilchin will also present it to the City Council in December. And the other thing I'd like to bring up is we've been working with the Rent Control Ad Hoc Committee on potentially bringing forward an ordinance. We don't know yet if there will be one presented or not, but we've been looking at the various provisions that several nonprofit groups have been presenting. The ad hoc committee is made up of landlords and tenants, a nonprofit member, and 2 council members. We've already met about 5 different times. So we're going to have public workshops now coming up in the next month or so, possibly middle of November and middle of December. But in line with that, we're also having a tenant protections workshop just to talk about tenant protections in general. And I'd like to go ahead and share that with you. We've already advertised it through our community services department. So let me go ahead and just put this up. You might have already seen this on social media and the city's website. We've advertised it both in English and Spanish. It's the Fair Housing Foundation that is helping us with this. So one workshop is going to take place on October 27th. So this would be coming week on Wednesday from 4 to 7. And the other one is on Tuesday, November 9th, same time period, 4 to 7, at the Veterans Park Ross Hall Auditorium. It's a free workshop. Anyone can attend. We're trying to make sure that people spread the word out there. And so we're trying to see if you can go ahead and tell your family and friends so they can tell their family and friends, etc. Any information that you need, feel free to call us. And again, this is sponsored by the city, and the people that are helping us are from the Fair Housing Foundation. So thank you.
Okay.
And that's all I had, sir.
Thank you very much. Carmen, any more updates?
No, Chairperson Rivera.
Commissions, any comments?
Thank you, staff, for the presentation and all the hard work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Commissions? City Attorney? All right, need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Adjourn. Nice to meet you on the long meeting.